Let's go ahead and bring in a special guest today, Frank Desideri, the individual involved in the Wembanyama jersey swap litigation.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kansas 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. Hope you're having a great Monday. And we appreciate you making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Kansas 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know where to go. Also, the Locked On Spurs newsletter, free and available. If you're on YouTube, just go to click the link below in the YouTube description. It's free. Hey, it's completely free. Sign up right now. The Locked On Spurs newsletter. By the way, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You want to go there right now because new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So make sure you do that right now. What are we talking about today? Well, we're going to bring a special guest here, Frank Desideri Sr. Now, if that name doesn't sound familiar to you, it should, especially if you're a San Antonio Spurs fan. For those of y'all who don't know, well, you probably do know. Back in December 2024, Spurs at Nets in Barclays Arena out in Brooklyn. Post game, if for those y'all remember, even the Spurs got into it. The NBA took off with this. There was a little Spurs fan who had a little Wemby jersey and was asking Wemby to do a jersey swap with him. Wemby obliges, takes a photo. It was so hilarious. Wemby holding up a little kid's jersey, and then you got a young man holding up a massive blanket of a jersey. The picture went viral. It went crazy. It was great, to give that young Spurs fan, Wemby fan, a moment in the spotlight. It is awesome. But weeks later, it popped up on the Goldin Auction House website for auction. There was some pushback from Spurs fans, just fans in general. And you fast forward to today, there was a temporary injunction filed in the state of New York courts requesting that the sale of the auction stop. And we're going to be talking about today that with Frank Desideri Sr. He is the individual who is requesting the auction to be halted. He's going to give his side of the story, how things went down, what really happened behind, behind the curtains there. We're going to get his thoughts on the moment that went viral in Barclays Center. What happened with that jersey when he first got it? We'll also ask him a bunch of stuff, such as the reaction from Spurs fans, NBA fans, and, of course, what he can talk about regarding the auction that he finalized. So, we'll get into all that in just a few minutes. And, of course, what caused him to, ask for it to be halted. We're going to get into all of that and more. Just some quick housekeeping. Frank did request that not to be on video. This was his decision, so we have to respect that. So he did feel comfortable, so we're going to move on forward with that as well. This interview was brought to you by Locked On Spurs and myself, Jeff Garcia. So just a heads up on that. And one more thing before we bring on Frank. I did reach out to Goldin Auctions. They did not respond to my request regarding this interview and their side as of this recording. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's go to bring in our special guest. He is Frank Desideri Sr. From my adopted home of New York City. Frank, welcome to Locked On Spurs. And man, I miss my adopted home of NYC.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, thank you so much, man. So how's my adopted home doing? The NYC doing fine?
Everywhere, just cold.
God, Dad, man, I'm a big winter fan. I like winter. That's my favorite.
Everybody likes winter until they get stuck here in the winter time.
Let me tell you, my first time in New York City, I got stuck in the freaking blizzard in Manhattan on 3rd Avenue. I was like, what was I thinking, man? I know what I was doing. I was cutting across Dwayne Reed's at that time, going into one and coming out, and I had to make it all the way to Bloomingdale's just to get into the subway. So I remember those winter days, man. But I'm glad you're taking time out of your busy schedule to come in and give your side of the story. What happened with that Wembanyama jersey? Why you wanted to have the courts halt the sale, and so much more. And more importantly, though, the impact on your son. And we're going to save that for last because I think that should be, kind of like the last thing you should talk about is like the impact. And yeah, but let's start off. Let's go back to December 2024. That moment with your son and Wemby, that jersey swap that went viral. How did that idea even come about?
So my son is on YouTube all the time, and he loves Wemby. So one day prior to probably like November, he's seen Rudy Gobert doing a jersey swap with Wemby. So I'm in the room with him. He tells me to come in and watch the video. And he's like, "I want to do this, Dad." I'm like, "Buddy, they don't do jersey swap with kids or just regular people, only people in the NBA." He goes, "Well, I want to make a sign and do it." I said, "Okay." So Christmas Day, before he made the sign, he drew everything up, sampled it, drew it in. And Christmas Day, we went to go see Wemby versus the Knicks. He's sitting courtside. He has his sign up. After the game, Wemby stormed off. He was mad he lost, and he didn't get the jersey that day. So a couple of days later, we said, let's go to the Nets game. We bought Nets tickets. He sat courtside. We sat the second row. We were sitting right next to Wemby and all the players. He's holding up the sign again. As the game's going on, Wemby's just so focused, he's not looking at anybody. Yeah. My son's screaming on top of his lungs so much that the security team of the Spurs wanted to kick a 5-year-old out for yelling Wemby's name. Wow. Which I thought was pretty crazy. So ultimately, everybody on the team seen it. Chris Paul, Kellen Johnson, and they're all laughing, seeing the sign. My son's screaming, "Wemby, look at my sign." And I got everything recorded. It was a pretty cool moment. So right before the game ended, there was two gentlemen in front of us, two guys in front of us, and he said you could take our seats. So that's how we went from the second row to the first row right in front of us. After the game, everybody left the court again, and Wemby didn't see the sign. Maybe he did, but he just wasn't paying attention. So he's walking into the tunnel, and I'm like, "Oh, let's go, buddy. We didn't get it. We'll try again another time." So he's about to take his jersey off, and then Keldon Johnson was like, "No, give it to this kid over here." So that's when they ran across and did the jersey swap with my son.
Wow. It was a viral moment. It took off, just not just the Spurs, but, the NBA. Yeah. Yeah. So it was a great moment. Your son looks cute, though, with holding onto that big, massive blanket of a jersey. Well, now Wemby looks like a napkin on his hand. Your son's jersey, but it was a great moment. And how did your son feel about that? I mean, he must have been excited.
Oh, he was excited. He actually slept in the jersey that night, just ecstatic about it. I was happy for him because he's been screaming his lungs off for 2 games.
Yeah.
And like I said, we went to those 2 games, not thinking anything of it. I didn't think it would ever happen. Yeah. And then it just happened because that's the way it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what did y'all do first with the jersey? You just took it home, or were you just kind of still stunned like it happened?
Took it home. My son watched it on YouTube about 50,000 times. The jersey swap every day, every second of the day. He's just looking at it, showing all his friends, showing everybody the jersey swap. Even at like his basketball practice, he's showing his coach and everything. So he still was watching it up until it did go viral again for
Yeah, and did it go viral, man? It was a great moment. I even wrote about it on over here in San Antonio at Kens5.com. So it was great, and I got to see it. But time passes, and when did the thoughts about putting it up for auction, selling it, ever come up? And how did that all start?
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on that than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth-quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into the same game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch 3, I never feel like I miss a chance. Plus, with the app, it's easy to use. When you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. You just want to go to FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. How about that? Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Hey everybody, this is Nathan Ray Clark from Criminal Minds and Modern Family, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs, hosted by Victor Wembanyama's new best friend, Jeff Garcia.
I got you. So it was never meant for sale.
Yeah.
About the 28th, I reached out to a friend of mine who owns a card shop, and I asked him, how do I get a photo match, and I want to get it authenticated and put that little piece of paper on the back before I put it on his wall. I don't know anything about game used jerseys. I have a couple jerseys and some game used jerseys I have, and every one I have comes with a certificate of authentication.
Yeah.
So I just thought that that's what you're supposed to do when you put it on the wall. So I wanted to get a nice picture frame and everything done for my son, put it on his wall, because he doesn't know how to do that. He's only 5.
Yeah.
So the first person I called was either My Gray or Flannel Gray, one of those companies. And my friend told me to call one of them. So I called them, talking to the guy, and he's like, it's $1,000 to get it done. That was the first thing I asked. And then he was like, this is a 6-figure jersey. He said, we're also an auction house. I'm like, oh, that's cool, but we're not trying to sell it. But I'll let you know this week about the photo match. So I just wanted to call a couple places to see if $1,000 was what it goes for to get a photo match, because this company was like a family-owned business. So I just do my due diligence before I settle with what company to go with. So that night, 12 o'clock at night, I'm online and I'm on Goldin site just looking to see, because I'm a collector of cards, and this guy telling me it's a 6-figure jersey. So now I'm just curious, as a collector, as a father, whatever. My son has this item. I'm just wondering how much it's worth. So I'm looking around. I'm on Goldin site. I don't see anything on there. So I wanted to contact them. So instead of me emailing them, I just did sell, and they'll call you. So I just did that. So the next day, the guy calls me. He said, hey, this is great. I've seen it all over the internet. So they knew that was the jersey that was in the viral video. So when I first talked to him, like, hey, do you guys do photo match? He said, yeah, we do photo match, but we don't do photo match unless you're selling the item. I said, oh, I don't know if we want to sell it. But I said, this other auction house told me that it's worth 6 figures. What do you think about it? He said, yeah, it's worth 6 figures. I said, well, what do you think about, do you think it'll be worth more now in the future, or worth more now? Because I've been collecting cards my whole life. I never sold anything, and they're all pretty much worthless because it never got sold at the right time. You know what I mean? I never had anybody to teach me what to do or what not to do, and when to sell things and not to sell things. So after that conversation, I told the guy, Ryan, I'll get back to him in a couple of days to let him know if we're going to proceed or not, because I wasn't even thinking about it. So I just left it alone and didn't hit him back about it. Over the next few days, he's like, this is the biggest auction in the world. We do this once a year. You don't want to miss out. We do $20 million in sales in this auction, and it's only 100 items. I said, oh, okay, that's cool. I talked to my son about it, just making small talk with him. So hung up, and I talked to my son, like, hey, buddy, this jersey's worth $100,000? He goes, that's crazy. I said, what would you think about if we sold it and we put it in your bank account, and the time you're 18, it could be worth $500,000 or more? He said, that's cool. He said, let's do it. Now, mind you, this is my first child, and I like to think that a 5-year-old understands what I'm saying, which I come to find out he doesn't. He understands, but his mind switches on and off every day.
Yeah.
So the next day, the guy Ryan hit me back. He said, hey, there's only 7 spots left. Then the next day, he hit me back again. He's like, hey, there's only a few spots left. And then he texts me at nighttime. He's like, hey, I'm going to sleep, just checking in with you. Like, he's my girlfriend, just checking in with me at nighttime now. I'm like, it's New Year's Eve, it's Sunday. You guys still working on Sunday? He goes, oh, the office is closed and I'm still working. I'm like, listen, I'm out with my family. I'll get back to you tomorrow. I said, in an event, there's a last spot. Just let me know and I'll give you my decision. Trying to just push them away from me to stop asking me. So all of a sudden, a couple hours later, it just automatically came down to the last spot. So now I don't know. I don't want to sell it at the moment, but then I'm like, do I miss out on this opportunity of this last spot? I can probably get it back after I sign it. He's like, oh, just sign it. And then I'm thinking that after I send in a photo match, I can change my mind and just pay him $1,000. So after I sign it, they send me an overnight shipping label, and I sent it to them. So after I sent it to him, after I sent it to him, I let the guy know, I said, hey, listen, I do not want my son's face or my face attached to the sale of the item. Because after I signed it to him, I read the contract. The only way to get it back is if I have to pay them money or anything. So now I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? My son gave me the okay. I would never do something without my son's permission. You know what I mean? I'm not that type of person. He gave me the okay, but now I understand that he doesn't. He wanted to do it, then he didn't want to do it, and then he's just a quiet real kid. Like I've said, I wasn't too sure about it. So after I signed it, thinking I can get it back, found out the only way to get it back is I have to pay them 25% of the sale and all this other crap.
Oh man.
So after I told them not to use a photo or the viral moment attached to the sale of the jersey because I know it's gonna happen, the backlash, they say okay, they agree to it. He's like, I never done this before. I never do this, but don't put your name or the face attached to it. It's like, okay, cool. January 10th comes, they put up my son's face and my face attached to the sale of the jersey. Yeah. Using that viral moment when we spoke directly to not to do that. And as a man to man, like I said, I don't know about these auctions. I don't know about contracts with these auctions. They do it anyway. As soon as they post it, I said, hey, listen, my son wants the item back. I want the item back, and we don't want to do this no more. He said, we can't do it because there's media. We already did media and we already did press on the jersey. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah. So from that day, January 10th, before it went out to auction, I was trying to acquire a lawyer. So to find a lawyer for defamation and all that stuff is extremely hard. I've heard from tons of people. So that whole thing passed. They tried to get a PR team to help me because they did mess up. So then I wrote a comment on an Instagram page about Goldin messing up, and the guy Ryan sent me a message and said Ken told me that if I put any more false comments out, he's going to go to his millions and millions of followers and essentially just say everything was false and try to make me look bad. Yeah. So January 30th, I obtained a lawyer. But sorry, man, I got ahead of myself. Reason why, so when he told me there was that last spot was a few hours after I told him, let me know if there's a last spot, I'll make my mind up. So this is where things got a little tricky. So I had a friend of mine message Ryan also about a Wemby card to put into the auction. He told my friend also, there's 7 spots left, and the next day 3 spots left, and there's 1 spot left, I can't hold it no more. So now I'm in me and my friends are talking, like, how did you say there's 1 spot left, and there's 1 spot left? That doesn't make any sense. It's only 100 spots in the auction. So another friend of mine hit up some gentleman named Wyatt. He supposedly works at Goldin also, and a week later after I signed it, said there's only 65 spots filled. So now there's 35 spots left in the auction when he told 2 people there's only 1 spot left. So he pretty much made me force my hand to make a decision right then and there, which wasn't the correct decision. And I told him from the beginning, hey, this is not about the money. Don't care if it gets $1 million, it's not about the money. I said, I just wanted to teach my son a lesson. Hey, if you're telling me that if they told me down the future, it's going to be worth way less, $10,000 jersey. So now my mind is like, after I told my son, like, do I want to do this for him? Do I don't want to do this for him? Do I want him to not potentially secure his future with this money? So that's when I found it quickly, not knowing anything about the contract, not knowing I can't get it back. Yeah. After they pretty much forced my hand to say, hey, you got to sign this now or you miss out till next year. So like I said, I signed it, not thinking it fully because I had to do it right then and there. So that whole thing happened, told me I couldn't get the jersey back. And then using my son's and my son and my face, putting it all over the world, but to help boost their auction, thinking that was the right thing to do, and they weren't supposed to. Right. So then I didn't know that in New York State or maybe other places that I'm not even allowed to make a decision for my son unless it goes to court, because they don't know where the money is going. And they don't know if it's really intended for him and all that stuff. Like I said, this money was never going to me. I don't need the money. I earned money for 2 courtside seats. I don't want to send the value because people are like, I'm just doing it to try to show up. But no, I'm just trying to prove a point that this $73,000 would never help me in any which way or benefit me at all. $70,000, sure, you can invest with it or whatever, but it won't change my life or my son's life. When all that happened, they just did the wrong things. And by law, you cannot trick someone into saying this is the last spot when especially there's 35 spots left. And that's why I found out why they pushed the auction back by 2 weeks, because they didn't have enough spots filled.
NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When a player scores 50 or more in a game during the 24-25 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. Here's why you should take advantage of this deal. Game day feast. After an epic 50-point performance, celebrate your ordering wings, pizza, burgers from your favorite spot delivered straight to your door. Late night cravings, whether you're staying up late watching highlights or just need a midnight snack, use Dash Pass to grab something delicious while saving big. Hey, what about fueling your own watch party? Planning to catch the next game? Order your go-to snacks and meals at a discount and get ready for more high-scoring action. Lunch on the go? Need a quick and easy lunch the next day? Dash Pass gets your favorite meals with $0 delivery fee, reduced service fees. Plus, now you save even more with this exclusive NBA offer. Sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off the order the next day. That's $10 off. Use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more.
This is Emilio Rivera, the Padrino for the Mayans MC. You are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, so that all happened, and using my son's likeliness, my son and me, from that day forward, it has been a mess. My son's been crying almost all the time. He hasn't watched a Wemby game, or he hasn't watched basketball since it happened. People making fun of him at school. I had people calling me, next to me, why am I selling my son's jersey?
Yeah.
And loss of business because people think I need the money, some sort of whatever the case is. I've been getting threats on text message, and Ryan and Goldin are calling me and be like, hey, do you have that letter of providence? I'm like, dude, I'm just getting text message and threats, and I told you this, so you keep on asking me about letters and stuff. It's just been a whole entire mess, like I said.
Yeah.
My son hasn't watched the game. My son just wanted the jersey back. This whole lawsuit thing,
Yeah.
we didn't want to sue them. We don't care about suing them. I don't care about anything else. We just said, hey, we want the jersey back. My lawyer reached out to them on the 19th, February 19th. This was the day before it happened with Wemby. It's all documented. I have documented everything from start to finish. My lawyer said, hey, we want the jersey back. They came back and said, we want $10,000 for the buyer's fee, and we get to hold on to the jersey. I said, who's going to agree to that? That just sounds crazy. I don't want to agree to that. So then they opposed something else, and we said no. So then I posted them. I said, hey, listen, you guys can make yourself look good because everybody's saying that you guys shouldn't have sold the jersey, shouldn't have auctioned it off. And you could just say, hey, the father of the son wants the jersey back, and we just feel like it'll be the right thing to do to give him the jersey back and not sell it at this time. I said, you guys can even look good and make me look bad, which I don't care about me looking bad. It's just about my son. My son changes his mind. He wants it back. That's what I'm trying to do, to get it back. It's not like they're putting it out there. When Goldin put their statement in, people don't know that. They're putting their side in as how they perceive it. It's not the truth, but how they perceive it. So when everybody goes on the internet, it's putting, hey, buyer's remorse. This is what they're putting out there to try to convince the lawyer, the judge, to throw this case out. It's not the truth. You know what I mean? So everybody's running with that, thinking it's the truth when it's not.
Yeah.
So, and this happened before the Wemby got hurt. This has been going on before everything else happened. And it just so happened my lawyer wound up talking to them on the 19th. And then they decided to go with the jersey and go with the sale. So that's why it looks like we try to do the stop of the sale of the jersey after it happened, because on the weekend you can't file a restraining order to stop the sale. So it had to go on Monday. And they were on notice that Monday morning we were going to serve the restraining order. So what Goldin did? Goldin rushed the jersey out. He said he got a payment of $73,000 on a Sunday, which no bank in the world clears on a Sunday, and they mailed the jersey out to the guy overnight before they received the restraining order an hour later. And they just gave it away to my son. Pretty much held it hostage, not to make a deal with my son so they would look better or not look worse by an auction down of a sale of a jersey. So this is where we're at right now. I don't want to sue them. I don't care about suing them. I don't want no money. It just my son wanted the jersey back, and I would have, even if they would have facilitated a buyback of the jersey after the auction, we would have done that. But they haven't offered any, so that would just been a whole big mess this whole time.
Yeah, it sounds like a big mess. And miscommunication and and whatnot. But you mentioned something during your summation right now was the negative feedback that you got regarding the sale. Well, when it first went up for auction, we saw it on the Goldin site there. Did you anticipate this negative reaction coming? Because there were fans out there saying like, "Oh, look at this parent, look at this father, getting that Wemby jersey from his kid and flipping it for profit." You heard a lot of that, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I heard that, and it doesn't make sense because we spent almost $20,000 on seats. So what is $73,000 going to do? Go to a few more games? You know what I mean? Yeah. I was just trying to show my son something, and my son agreed to it. It's not like I just sold it on my son. And if anybody knows me, money's the last thing I worry about. My first worry about is my son and my kids. And like I said, anybody knows me knows that money doesn't mean nothing to me.
Sure. How did you react or your son react? I'm pretty sure you saw that where when Wembanyama went on X and I did like the most sad emoji.
My son's been crying. My son's been crying ever since he did that. His favorite player is Wemby, and he thinks Wemby hates him now. And a 5-year-old kid has been devastated. Like, I get it. I appreciate Wemby for doing that. But then he doesn't know what he just did to a 5-year-old about posting that. And like I said, now my son thinks his favorite player hates him. And he hasn't watched the game or talked about Wemby or watched his viral moment on YouTube since that happened.
Yeah. I'm just curious now, did Wemby or just the Spurs ever reach out to you about that jersey swap or the auction? Did they ever contact you about that?
No, I mean, I heard some chatter in the league about some people talking about it, but no one ever reached out to me.
No one reached out to you. Okay, so they stayed away from you. Obviously, it sounds to me like what prompted you to ask for a halt of the jersey sale was your son, his age, the legalities of it, about him being a 5-year-old. Just that he never really wanted, and it sounds like a lot of just you're telling Goldin what you're telling us is Goldin. You're telling Goldin no, don't proceed, and they just proceeded anyway, right? That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, with the end of the sale, I asked for it. I even asked for it back to January 10th when they posted it up on their Instagram. Not even for auction. They didn't auction for 2 weeks later after that. So in that whole time, I'm trying to get a lawyer, and I didn't get a lawyer till January 30th. And my lawyer didn't talk to them until February 19th. And obviously it looks bad because it looks like we waited to see what would happen. But at that moment, when they spoke to them, it was only $33,000. I even told my lawyer, hey, this still can reach 70 or 100 grand, but it's not about the money. My son changed his mind, and I get it. They say you can't change your mind. I wrote down that the jersey, as soon as I signed a contract, they're saying that the jersey is mine. And I get it. I should have read the fine print or whatever the case was. But I read that you could get it back if you do sending them a lawsuit or you work out some kind of deal with them, which we were willing to do. But the deal was for them was to get paid them the $10,000 and they hold the jersey forever. That's not a deal. You're battling against a 5-year-old. It's not for me. You know what I mean? It's jersey not for me. So now you held the 5-year-old's jersey hostage. You sold it on him, knowing he wanted it back, and then they're trying to flip the script and making the public look like that I wanted it back. I'm having buyer's remorse. And I tell everybody, if the jersey sold for $73,000, why would you think it'd go any higher after I took it back? If Wemby got hurt the day after we sent the letter in, why wouldn't we just sell it and keep the money? Wemby's future is uncertain.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because there was also some chatter too, like, they wanted it back because Wemby got hurt. Yeah, you just want to talk about that as well?
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense. If Wemby got hurt and he turns into a Chris Bosh and the blood clots come back and his future is uncertain, well, it'll be worthless if he doesn't come back to the NBA. My son just wants the jersey back. If it's worth $1 million or if it's worth $10, my son just wants it back. So if it's sold for $73,000, why won't we just keep the money if Wemby got hurt?
Yeah.
Get hurt again, it's worthless. You know what I mean?
What about that other chatter too that you hear fans, just people in general saying like, well, you wanted it back because it didn't reach $1 million,
But I got you on that. So everybody who knows about the hobby knows that there's a market and there's a way to find comps. All right. So before anything happens, you look for comps. So like just with a baseball card or a basketball card, you see a Wemby basketball card, you go on eBay, you see what the comp is and what it's sold for. It's not going to get more than that. Doesn't matter what's attached to it. I'm nobody. My son's nobody. We're not no celebrities, so why would it go any higher than what it's worth? The bunch of jerseys that sold on the Wemby was 40-something thousand, 50-something thousand, and there was one that sold for 100,000 during his rookie year, a year prior, was the same kind of jersey, but now we're in year 2. His rookie year is being worth more, and all this. So why would I think it'd get $1 million? That would make no sense. The jersey had a price for it. Every card has a price for it, and nothing's going to change unless Michael Jordan signed it on top of it. You know what I mean? It's not even his signature wouldn't change the price of the jersey. It said he was only worth $1,000 in the market. I mean, so anybody who collects cards, anybody who knows about comps and sells, that is the market price right now. So if I took it back, it would never go over $73,000. It would never happen. It would probably sell less after this because more Wemby jerseys will be out next year.
Absolutely. Now, Ken Goldin of Goldin Auction House, he did make a comment to, I believe it's collect.com, CLLCT.com. Get your reaction to this. He says, quote, "We never contacted this individual and never knew who he was." Ken Goldin told Collect, CLLCT. On December 29th, he contracted us first by going to Goldin.com and clicking the button that said sell. By January 2, 9:02 a.m., he had signed the consignment contract, end quote. What is your reaction to that?
So I've seen that. So what happens is that if we did want to sell it, and when I sent them an email on December 29th, when they called me, why wouldn't I just sign the contract on December 29th if we were so sure this was the whole plan from the get-go to sell it? Why would I wait 3 days until they told me this is the last spot and force my hand to make a decision right then and there? Why would I wait days? Why would I not pull him back to do it? If I was so sure to sell something, like if you were going to sell a car and you know you're going to go to sell it and you go to the dealership and they say, "Hey, I want to sell it now," and you change your mind, you don't want to sell it, you know what I mean? Then you weren't there to sell it to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
One second, I got a train over there. But
That's all right.
so like I said, it was never meant to sell it.
Yeah.
If it was, we would have sold it the day they spoke to us. And then on top of it, Ken said to his post he put up, they didn't know this was the jersey swap jersey after his photo match was a complete lie, because when I sent them Ryan the photos in the email, I showed them the videos. Who would lie that's them in the videos and photo? Because when the photo match comes back, they feel like that was a lie. So Ken did that because people were talking about, why'd you take this jersey? You just in it for the money, and he tried to make himself look better by making us look worse.
Yeah. One other thing too I was going to ask you is, what this whole situation going on? You think about it. It's over a jersey. Sometimes you're like, what? We're arguing over a jersey, but I get it. The value of it in the moment. It's Wemby, generational player. The little your son. The moment was crazy, but I hear your frustration, your voice, and obviously Goldin's going to do what they're going to do. But are you trying to work things out with Goldin? What can you tell us? Going by, are they trying to find some sort of middle ground? What's going on there?
No, they're not trying to find nothing. They're actually trying to claim breach of contract, and they're trying to keep all my son's money. That's what they're trying to do right now.
Yeah.
So not only they sold the jersey on him, they're trying to keep his money now, saying breach of contract, and all this nonsense. So
am I hearing you correctly? The sale has gone through in Ford, right? And the jersey's off to the bottom.
Yeah, like jersey was sold to a buyer. My whole thing behind doing these interviews and anything is that I want the buyer to contact me, and I want to see if we can work out a deal to get my son's jersey back. That's the only thing around this. I don't want to sue nobody. Don't want to go to court. I don't have time for none of this stuff. It's just draining, and it's making my son more upset and more miserable.
But Frank, if I heard you correctly, the sale went through, final and complete. So doesn't the auction house have to owe you their portion of the sale?
Yeah, they're supposed to give us the money, but they're saying because I sent a restraining order and a lawsuit, that's a breach of contract.
I see it. I got you. Okay.
So now they're saying breach of contract, and they're trying to keep the money.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I got a little confused there. Yeah. It sounds like just a massive headache, and I'm hoping that all this gets resolved ASAP. I know for you, for your stress and, all the stuff you're going to go through, but more importantly, your son. Let's talk about the impact that has been on your son here. 'Cause I think he gets lost in all this. You hear the buzzwords, Wemby's name, Goldin Auction House, lawsuit, temporary restraining order, but the little kid, the boy, the 5-year-old, what, how is he doing? What is he saying? What can you share with us?
I try to keep it away from him as much as possible, the phone calls and everything. That's why I'm in my car at the moment. I don't like to talk in front of him about it.
Yeah.
But I did break the news to him, told him the jersey wasn't coming back. He started crying. And just like I said, since Wemby posted up that
crying emoji.
the crying emoji, my son thinks he hits him. My son is devastated. Like I said, he doesn't even watch basketball no more. He after they posted that video, people in his school, they confronted him in front of his father and all this stuff. And he's only 5 years old. You know what I mean? Like, as much as he does understand what he understands, but it's just he's been, like I said, hasn't watched a basketball game with me or nothing since. It's just even the day that did happen, we're watching the Spurs that night, and it's on ESPN. They're talking about it. He's on the video, and it's just been hard on him,
Yeah.
And then on top of it, I didn't know that when I signed the contract, that it says that I'm the rightful owner of it. And that's what they're trying to argue, is that I'm the owner of it and my son never owned the item, which is hard to argue when you see Wemby give him the jersey.
Yeah, exactly. What is the status of the lawsuit right now? How's that? What's going on? What's the latest in that?
I don't know what I could and can't say, but all I do know is that they did throw the restraining order out because they did expedite the
request to
the shipping. But they did expedite the shipping of the jersey overnight to the owner, so that got thrown out. But they do have some stipulations where they have jurisdiction in their contract of
New Jersey, right? At the least
New Jersey, but the judge threw that out. So if we do proceed with anything, it'll be tried in New York. But like I said, I don't want to go through that. I don't want to do none of this. All my son wanted the jersey back, but now the jersey's gone. So we don't know what's going to happen, but we don't want to go through none of this. We just, like I said, I'm just trying to get the owner to contact me to see if it's not for his child or for himself, to see what we could do just to try to get the jersey back to my son there.
Yeah, I hope everything gets resolved ASAP. This doesn't linger. But, moving forward, you got to wonder, like, if you ever go just to an NBA game, it doesn't have to be the Spurs, Rockets, Knicks, whatever. Like, it could be a message, your situation could be a message to those that are in a situation like this, couldn't it be?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, no problem. If your situation, it could be a lesson for somebody else in the future. Be careful when you do jersey swaps with fans. If you put up on auction, we're not talking about Goldin. It could be any auction house. Just you beware before you proceed. But Frank, do you think this is gonna have like not like a freeze, but more like make people kind of second guess before they try to do these things with just pro players, NBA, football, baseball?
I mean, like some people say that they ruined it for the sport and all this, but what I'm saying is Wemby's going to be a billionaire at the time he finished playing. Even if he does proceed to play.
Yeah.
As a player, if I was a player, I would be giving jerseys all the time to help families out if they need it or don't need it. You know what I mean? We support these players. They make millions. They make an obscene amount of money to play basketball. Yes, it's a sport. They do it for a living. This is their job. But to give something to a family who would need the money or does need the money, and you can help their future, I don't see why not. I just think that everybody sells stuff. I just think because it was handed to my son and wasn't thrown in the stands, and I understand that. I understand that. So after I signed the contract is why I told them I do not want our face in there or my son's face because of that, because I knew what was going to happen. I even told them it wasn't thrown a baseball or it wasn't a jersey thrown in the stands. It was caught by a random person. It was personally handed to my son, and I got that aspect of it. Yeah. But like I said, after I signed it, I told them not to do that, and they did it anyway. They tried to attach their auction to our viral moment and telling us they paid for media when ultimately they destroyed they try to destroy my reputation and my son's reputation, and their whole thing was like, oh, everybody's gonna hate. But I told you not to do it. So I just think that players still gonna give jerseys out because it doesn't affect them if it gets sold or not. There's players. Kobe Bryant's dad sold his jerseys and all his stuff. I mean, I think that if you can help a family out by giving them a jersey, why not do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, we are joined by Frank Desideri Sr. He is the individual involved in the lawsuit with Goldin Auction House regarding the stoppage of the sale. Unfortunately, the sale did go through. The jersey is now with the new owner. Hopefully that new owner will hear your plea, maybe work something out with you where the jersey can go back to your son, who obviously, according to you, is, having an impact on this whole situation. Frank, before I let you go, because we're running out of time here, what would be your last message you would want to put out there?
Like I said, I just want to see if I get this jersey back for my son. That's all. And if not, I'm not saying not to deal with anybody. I'm just saying just make sure you choose the company you're dealing with, or not just trying to make money off you and just trying to get that jersey in there, because they did say they never had a Wemby jersey before. Yeah. So by telling someone there's a last spot, you pretty much made me make a rash decision. And I get people saying, yes, he's an adult. Yes. I understand all that aspect of it, but I didn't want to make the wrong decision for my son because, like I said, no one taught me what to do or what not to do when I had these items. Yeah. So I was trying to make the best decision for my son for his future. And if he has something of value, and maybe when he's 18, everybody's like, it's going to be worth $1 million. No, you can get a Steph Curry game used jersey or LeBron game used jersey for under $30,000 now. It's under $30,000 right now. Yeah. The Wemby's a superstar, but it's only at this price right now because there's limited jerseys out there. So you can also get a Luka. You get a Luka and Anthony Edwards jersey for under $8,000 each, game used anytime, even their special jerseys. So everybody's be like, oh, should have held it and be worth millions of dollars. It's not. This is going to be, if the person who owns it now wants to sell it in 5 years, it's going to be worth less. It's going to be worth 40, 50 grand because they're not desirable no more.
Yeah.
Hey, why would I want the jersey back if I'm just going to get less money down the road? Yeah, well. I just wanted to give my side and make sure that, like I said, when Goldin put their lawsuit back in, or their order to show cause, this is what they're saying, that on their perspective. It's not the truth. Yeah. It's just their perspective to try to get it thrown out. And
well, I'm glad you came on Locked On Spurs to give your perspective, your side of the story, and the impact of your son. Frank, is there any social media platforms that people, fans, whoever can reach out to you, or the buyer, if he listens to this? Is there like an Instagram page they can go to, they can contact you?
Yeah, my page is private, and it's always been private because I just have my kids up there. I mean, I can give you a page that I made on behalf of my son. Go ahead. They can message that. It's just with the jersey swap on it. Mm-hmm. It is Frankie, FRANKIE, JR 2025.
And that's on Instagram, correct?
Yep, Instagram.
There you go. For those y'all listening, if you want to send some support or just want to follow up, or if you're the buyer of the jersey and you're hearing this and you want to work something out with Frank Desideri Sr., make sure to go to that Instagram page right now. Frank, we're running out of time here. I'm pretty sure you heard the warning. But Frank, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I know it's hectic time right now with this whole situation. Again, hopefully things will work out and everybody will be fine at the end of the day. So we appreciate you, Frank, again, for coming on here on Locked On Spurs, giving your side of the story. And everybody else, thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Spurs. Make sure to subscribe wherever you find us, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Ken 5 Plus at YouTube, and the Locked On Spurs newsletter. It's in the description below on YouTube. Click on that right now. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things silver and black as the season continues. So for Frank Desideri Jr., Senior, I should say, and Frank Desideri Jr. as well, he's speaking on behalf of his son. This is Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.